It's called Head Like a Mouse, is the name of the album.
If you think about it, it's really a crazy idea. Our whole lives we've been told, go to college, get a good job, be a doctor, be a pharmacist, be a cop, be a police officer, fireman, but not Corey. He has us all convinced we're gonna be big.
It was just always clear that it wouldn't just be a list of songs. We wanted to make an album. Because the albums I always admired were stuff like, you know, the Floyd and stuff that had voices and, you know, sound effects and atmospheres. There's such a different energy to it if there's those extra characters. And because of the nature of basically every song, it's a story. It needs those extra voices.
This album, it became sort of a concept album.
More so than a concept, it's a recurring theme.
Yeah. A lot of the album just has to do with
pain,
loss, and pain and suffering, and I mean that's not uncommon.
I'd say the bulk of the theme in the middle is the idea of adversity. Mm-hmm. But whereas other people have tackled that concept with, you know, adversity and overcoming it, what we're approaching is such is the nature of life that you can't always overcome adversity. It's impossible. You can say you're overcoming it just by constantly fighting it, and that's wonderful, and that's the point of the theme, is that never stop. But let's just face the fact that sometimes the bad guys win. I think we started contemplating the album after we started to feel that there was some momentum in the live shows, and a lot of it was the demand for an album. When you're talking to people at a show, and yeah, you might have a little CD you burn here and there, and maybe some t-shirts you make for a show, but you get a lot of people saying, we're going to get an album soon. The decision as to where to make the album, that wasn't a quick one. We needed someone who could be patient and who would also be okay with teaching us, because we did not want to be sheep going through the album, and then at the end of a few months we're left with something that isn't us. We wanted something that could bring out what we do on stage, but polish it up enough to where it's feasible to sell. I'd say the decision to land with Jack and Shattered Records was from a lot of recommendations from our friends in other bands. He's recorded a lot of our friends, and a lot of great things were said about him, and he had that certain something, you know.
And I charged it with 1.21 gigawatts.
We're gonna see some serious shit.
I know, it's basically we're gonna be going back in time.
Yeah.
That's how epic this album is.
Boom, boom, bang, bang. Right? Isn't that what you're doing?
Drums are very hard to record. A lot of producers use 18, 20 microphones at a time for a 4-piece drum kit.
We really wanted solid drums on the album, and that's why we ended up recording the drums at Paradise Studio.
There's a lot of actual albums just from Sacramento bands that we really like that were recorded there. So
Cake was a big sell.
Cake was a big sell.
When we recognized that they recorded some stuff there, and that's a really influential band to us. Not even just in terms of sound, but just as like a band we look up to.
This is when we get to see the drums removed from the rest of the music and just watch how the drums function. And like, that's exciting to me, to just watch the bare bones skeletal drums.
You start from the bottom and you build up. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't start at the top of the cake. And this album's really a cake. Oh, I don't want to go into a cake metaphor. That was stupid.
Before, when I was a little more naive and I wasn't quite familiar with the industry and how things like this worked, I kind of thought, well, drums for the entire album should take 40 minutes because all I gotta do is play each song. And then a while ago we were at a friend's studio. He introduced me to something called a click track. And that was far more intimidating than I ever imagined. That's when I kind of realized my own techniques as a drummer needed to improve, in the sense that, you know, staying in a consistent tempo, learning how to read a click. Honestly, a lot more work than I thought it would be. I'm excited for this run of recordings because a good thing I did was practice to a click track instead of just winging it the day of the recording. I'm really hoping things turn out easier for me this time.
Where we're at in terms of recording is all the pre-production, like the scratch tracks, all that's taken care of, and we're doing all the drum tracks today.
We just rolled up into the studio parking lot, and not soon after, maybe seconds after, Joe Arrington, he also rolled up, and he said, "What do you want your drums to sound like?" And I'm like, "What?" He goes like, "I don't know, is there any other artists that you really like? What do you want them to sound like?" And I'm thinking, this guy is so good, he can make my drum sound however I want just by saying, I want Vinnie Colaiuto's drums. And he's like, okay, yeah, I can do that. And then he did. It was amazing, and just watching him work with drums, I learned a lot. I'll be the first to admit, I'm not good at tuning drums. It's really hard for me. In less than an hour, I learned so much. When all was said and done, he really had him sounding really good.
The tones sound great. The snare, the head's a little dead, but it sounds pretty good. You're gonna fluctuate at all, like when you're recording, once he puts the mics up, starts messing with it.
You need oxygen, and you need shelter, and you need food. I feel like you grew up somewhere where drums was a portion.
Actually, drums come before all of those things.
I think our only hitch was tempo, because when we're playing on the stage, things just naturally move a lot faster.
Adrenaline's a factor, but when I recorded the scratch tracks, I was recording it as I knew it should be, originally written. It was basically exactly how they were when we first started playing them.
The scratch tracks came out a little slower, and we had to, in a hurry, go back and speed them up a little bit.
We expected to be there till well into the evening. I think we got out of there close to 5:30.
Yeah.
And finished all of the drum tracks for the album. Success.
Absolutely.
I would call the day a success. Well, I think that recording the guitar tracks, for me, it was a harrowing task. Didn't take that long, but it felt like ages because everything I hear as I'm doing it sounds awful and wrong. Just the doubt crawls in and you start thinking, what am I doing? I think what it came down to was having faith that in the end it would sound okay. Just finding the tones took forever. I was trying to achieve a tone that would have enough bite and enough power, but not be an overwhelming fuzz distortion. Yeah, that sounded fine.
I friggin' love the guitar tones.
Yeah. So that took a long time, just getting the tone set, and then onto the task of actually trying to record the songs. There were some songs that went by like a breeze. Like I think Lech was done in probably a couple takes. It was a really quick song. But then there's other parts that took so long. It was just take after take after take, and it was just not getting there. We ended up just taking a break. We went outside, went back, and a couple takes later it got in. I look back at those as the hurdle that we jumped over. That was really the hard part.
Recording bass for the album, it was actually very straightforward. We are using digital tones, just for ease and a little bit more comfort of being able to pick exactly what I want. So we just have a very clean, normal, bland tone that we're then doing an edit for each song, and I just recorded all the parts, and then we're just going to overlay how it should physically sound afterwards with all the actual grittiness or softness and however it should be. I really enjoyed the process. I thought it would be a lot harder than it was just because I don't record. I wasn't sure how I would do, and I was very worried that it was going to be a lengthy process of many screw-ups.
Alright, one take wonder.
Yeah, let's do this.
You do this. Yeah.
I'm going to do funk a lot in this song.
We need the funk.
I was surprised though because many songs had single note punches. Somehow I would miss one note on many of the songs. Okay, we need, that was a really good take. I need to go back and punch in half a second's worth of playing. Boom. Okay, song's done.
I already missed one note.
I can probably say it was the easiest and smoothest day of recording.
Yeah.